Today I went to Agatha Christie's home, which was about a half-hour cycle from me, maybe a little longer. And yeah, the roads were amazing. There's loads and loads of walkways around that house, and the views are amazing. You've got huge sites, huge, amazing countryside. And then afterwards, we were just walking back, and there was a few other places, sightseeing and some walks and stuff. And it's just like, this place is so much better than Birmingham. You know, in Birmingham there are loads of parks and stuff, but every single park, no nice views. Most of the canals just look like graffiti and full of pigeons, and just nothing is very pretty there. There's one garden that occasionally gets like flowers in it, and that's about it. And it's just, I'm feeling very jealous being here, because it's just like, England is such a nice place, just not where I live, and it's very depressing. It's making me think, should I just sell the property in Birmingham and just move down here and come and live here? And then it's just like, well, I believe that something's going to happen soon, and I believe that a group of people are gonna come and talk to me about my religion. They're going to give me a bunch of money, and I'm going to spend a year recouping and having a holiday. And you know how I am right now. I'm in a hotel. Okay, this hotel isn't particularly that nice. It's just like standard. But yeah, how I would love it is to just go to some really nice hotels and perhaps spend sometimes 3 days, sometimes 5, sometimes 7, depending on I don't know. But and then every day just do something from like 11 till 4 or something. So do something for 5 hours every day, and then come back at 4 and have interviews, and then just spend all evening on the internet having interviews with people who openly have views on God and stuff. And I don't think I should have any interviews with Muslims, to be honest. I mean, we could try it, but I feel like I want to do these videos because I want to shame all the people who have opinions of God and yet are wrong. You know, I would love to talk to someone like Piers Morgan about, you know, me being God, and just see how he reacts. And the atheist guy, what's that? Stephen Dorking or something. Someone, I don't know. There's some atheist people who are very Charles Dorking. I don't know. I can't remember his name. But there's some Dorking people who I'd love to say that I'm God, and just because you've read a Bible and it's given this interpretation of God and I'm not, and you think that's not possible, well, that doesn't mean that God's not real. You know, I'd love to have these conversations. But yeah, I think there's a lot of inversion in Islam, and therefore I don't think I even want to talk to them, because I feel like they've got the inverted spirit for a reason. And you know, maybe it's because they're generally not on my side, hence I shouldn't even tell them that you're being inverted. I mean, I guess I'd want them to change and invert themselves, but if they're not a leader, if they are a leader, then I kind of want them to lead their people in the wrong direction, because that's you know, the spirit can't cope with this number of people, and therefore I want to get involved in people who can't sense. You know, I would love to know that, though. The question is, how many things in Islam do I believe are inverted? So how many beliefs do they have that I literally think is the exact opposite? You know, there's quite a lot of things that their imams or whatever it is say, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't really agree with that. But it's not like the inversion. You know, they believe in one God, and I believe in billions, but one God on earth. So it's not the exact inversion. It's just a sort of inversion. You know, they think that God might have 72 letters in his name, and that God can only be a male. Now, this is an exact inversion, because I believe that God has 4 letters in her name, and even her surname B can actually be just 1 letter. So, you know, and Anna can also be spelt with 3 letters with 1 N. So, you know, there's that. Could be my whole name could be just 4 letters, and so that's the exact inversion of that. And they think that man is the image of God, and women are just like, I don't know, less, or slaves, or some say that, not all. But yeah, I just, you know, my religion is exact opposite, but I would love to know how many things in it is an exact inversion. It will probably be quite long, but yeah, it's hard to not be insulting when when your truth is that your religion is the exact opposite of the truth. You know, they are going to see that as an insult, because it is an insult, but at the same time it's still the truth, and I have to tell the truth. And yeah, and I think you know, they might get very angry over it, and even things like, you know, not paying tax. You know, I think actually tax is very, very important, although honestly I think it shouldn't be more than 12%. I think if income tax is 12%, and if you want council tax for every property, and you know, with singles, technically singles should get a 50% discount. If there's two people living in a property, it should be one. But then again, you might get people saying that they're living it as a single when really they're not. So I think 25% is best for singles, just in case they are dating and they are having people around, but just not this is a permanent living situation, but just a temporary. So I don't know. Singles probably less, but I do believe in council tax, and I do believe in income tax, but I think income tax should be incredibly lower. You know, I think right now it's like 2 or 3 times higher than it should be, or 4 times higher than it should be. But I think that there are 2 or 3 or 4 times more jobs that are being done that don't need to be done. You know, I think there's a lot of people in social services that are deliberately taking kids off people who can look after them. So say there's a mum who can't look after them, but there's an auntie who can. They would deliberately say, oh, the auntie can't look after this child because the auntie hasn't got an experience with children, and you'd use something like that. The auntie doesn't have a partner. The auntie is, or the auntie, or the step partner has 3 kids, but they're all older. They're all older than 8, so he can't do it. I mean, why they failed Marco, I don't know. Why they failed me, I don't. Well, it's because I was single and I didn't have a proper job, or the massage job that I was doing was obviously not in their approval, and also I don't know. Single parent, and they, you know, there's a list of things that they would ban people from, but they're only doing it because they want to make money out of the system. So I feel like there's way too many social workers. If there were less social workers, they wouldn't be doing things like this. They're doing things like this because the government is giving them way too much money. And if the reason why the government is giving them way too much, or why the government is charging so much tax on people, it's to fund things that don't need to be done. You know, how many lawyers are there that are allowing molestation orders to go through, even though the claim is ridiculous? I sat next to her in court, and she spoke to me, and she was on a molestation order, and she shouldn't have done that, but she did that. I mean, any court hearing who would hear this and say, right, let's take this through and and bring this person into court, you know, every couple of months, monitor this person. We haven't got a conclusion. This person wants to end it. She says it's ridiculous, and we haven't even bothered to read her claim. You know, whatever the courts are doing, I think they must be doing it because there are way too many people in the court system, and they're all just trying to make a living out of it. So they need lots of dummies to come in regularly, and they will do it on the sense that they're right, you know. And there's plenty of lawyers as well who are paid to do certain things, and it's just, I feel like it's not judged on whether or not a person is smart or intelligent or right or nice. It's judged solely on who can spend the money to do something. And yeah, I just think having so many jobs that are just, there's so many jobs that are just designed to make things more complicated, and I think the government is saying we need to tax you 40% of your salary to cover all these expenses. You know, I don't believe in a lot of things. I don't believe that you should just give handout free money to people, and I don't believe government should have anything to do with housing, because if you house one person, well, that house could have gone to someone else. So by helping one person, you've actually just made it harder for someone else because someone else wanted that property. You know, if you make it really easy for people to live in London, it's unfair for all the people who moved out of London. So why are you giving, these people can't afford to live in London, okay, we'll give you housing benefit. Well, what happens about all the people who couldn't afford to live in London and left, and now are living in a shitty town like Birmingham? You know, I don't agree with anything that the government are doing, and they're also bringing in a huge number of Muslims, and they don't seem to realise that Muslims and Christians are not the same. You know, Christians can sense some truth. They've got something about them that sense some truth, and Muslims, if you think that's the true religion, it means that you can't sense what the true religion is, or that you can't sense the truth, and it's insulting to them, but it's just how it is. And yeah, I keep picturing it, keep fantasizing about it. I want to be in a bunch of luxurious hotels going around and having some tour person be like, right, today from 11 till 4, we're going to go to this place, we're going to see, what do I like doing? I love doing walks and hikes and maybe rafting, elephant riding, and safari, zoos. I like waterfalls and boat rides, and yeah, every day I want to just do something for 3 or 4 hours, perhaps 5 hours, and then come back and then just spend the evening talking to people and having doing what that sort of OnlyFans person does, the one that's a guy who looks like a girl, and she's just talking to people about, yeah, I'm God, but I want to do a sort of a religious version of that. And I don't know how long I've got, and it might be a very long time still, and I just don't know.